Every region has a story, and over time that story turns into a legend, and that legend can illustrate different meanings. And so in this video I'm going to talk about the legend of the Kalos region. The Kalos region, which exemplifies beauty with its culture and environment, wasn't always this beautiful. The region suffered a lot due to war and destruction, and even though the war is shrouded in mystery, the destruction that came afterward points to one man, the King of Kalos. 3,000 years ago, the King of Kalos created a machine that would give life to his beloved Pokemon that died in the Great War. The king was successful at reviving the Pokemon, but was not able to overcome his despair. The king blamed the world for what it did to his beloved Pokemon, and so he turned the machine, which is powered by the life force of Pokemon, into the ultimate weapon. He then used the ultimate weapon to destroy both sides of the conflict, thus ending the war. Even though the king ended the Great War, he still had to pay a price for using a weapon that almost destroyed all living beings in Kalos. The punishment that the king received came through his beloved Pokemon Floette. Floette realized all the destruction that was caused by her beloved king, and after seeing this transformation of character, Floette decides to leave the king, and this act puts the king in a state of despair once more. During the main story of Pokemon X and Y, history was about to repeat itself because of Team Flare. Lysander, the leader of Team Flare, decided to use the ultimate weapon so that he could solve the population problem. The reason he thinks that overpopulation is an issue is because he believes that humans are inherently evil and greedy, and when there's something out there that cannot be shared, people will fight for it. An example he gives that supports this ideology is the Mega Ring. He says because there are so few Mega Rings out there, some will have them and some won't, and this will lead to arguments, violence, and even destruction. His solution for all this is to just reduce the human population, and because Pokemon can be used by humans in these conflicts, the Pokemon should be eliminated as well. This idea of overpopulation is viewed as an issue by some in the real world as well. There are people out there that believe that overpopulation can lead to the risk of quality of life and even starvation. The thing that Lysander brings up is a lot similar to how the population cannot maintain the rapid depletion of non-renewable resources, and this depletion can eventually cause tension and conflict among people. Now the thing that Lysander is doing to solve what he believes is an issue is just too extreme, as there are ways to prevent these type of problems from occurring without annihilating living beings. In due time, people will learn to adapt, cooperate, and find alternatives to solve or reduce such problems. Even the companions that traveled with the hero questioned Lysander's insane solution, and even tried to counterpoint his beliefs by bringing up the idea of cooperation among people and the concept of Mega Evolution. The Mega Evolution, which is one of the outcomes of the power that was unleashed by the ultimate weapon, is the perfect example of the bond humans can have with their Pokemon. After hearing all that from the companions, Lysander rejects the ideas and continues with his plan. A plan that includes the legendary Pokemon Xerneas in Pokemon X and the legendary Pokemon Yveltal in Pokemon Y. The reason he's using the legendary Pokemon is because he believes that the legendary Pokemon's energy is the source that powers up the ultimate weapon. This fascination Lysander has with the legendary Pokemon is hinted at early on in the game, when he talks about how the two mythical Pokemon gave and took life in the Kalos region. The thing that Lysander says about Xerneas and Yveltal giving life energy and taking life energy is also reflected in the Pokédex entries. There's an entry in the Pokédex that also talks about the third legendary Pokemon Zygarde, and it says that Zygarde plays a role in the Kalos region's ecosystem. In the climax, the hero of Kalos eventually stops Lysander's plot by freeing the legendary Pokemon and powering down the ultimate weapon. However, Lysander does not give up, and manages to turn on the ultimate weapon with the little power it has left, and targets the hero and the companions. Unfortunately for Lysander, the blast from the ultimate weapon backfires, as it destroys the building and him within it. After stopping Lysander, the main story of X and Y comes to an end. But one story arc that is still left open until at the very end of the game is the story of the ancient king AZ. After the player becomes a champion of Kalos, AZ approaches the player for one last battle in an attempt to learn what it means to be a trainer. After the battle, AZ realizes that a trainer such as the player is the perfect example of how humans should interact with their Pokemon. After having such realization, AZ thanks the player for giving him hope and freeing him from his long agony. And right at that moment, AZ's beloved Pokemon Floette comes down from the sky and returns to her king, and with that the story of the Kalos region comes to an end. So what do you guys think about the story and the legend of the Kalos region? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Facebook, links are in the description. Alright, that is all for this video. I'll be back with another video soon, so stay tuned.